Good morning. Welcome to A Place in the Sun's virtual event. This is the first Saturday of our busy September. We're doing everything online and it's gone well this week so far. My name is Liz Rowlinson, editor of Place in the Sun magazine, international journalist. And this is the first of a Buyers Reunited series of webinars. And we've got another one next week, and this one, really excited. We're able to show for the first time a couple of clips from the TV series where they featured. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Andy and Linda. Hi, Andy and Linda.
Hi.
Now you're in Cyprus. You bought. We're not going to give too much away at this side, but basically you've been living there a year, yeah?
Just over, yeah.
Brilliant. And you were on the TV programme with Jonnie. Hi, Jonnie. How you doing, Jonnie? I think we've lost Jonnie's sound. So Andy and Linda.
Yes, Jonnie was there with us, yeah.
Not sure. Anyway, so tell me, what's it like in Cyprus? What's happening with the lockdown in Cyprus? Is it sort of opened up a bit?
It's opened up, yeah. We still have to wear face masks to go into all the shops and everything. You're allowed to go into restaurants and bars, obviously, for eating and drinking without a face mask. But all of the shops, you have to wear a face mask, otherwise you get a €300 fine. So, yeah.
There's the shopping malls have temperature check-ins as well on your floor, and just read your temperatures. You go into the shopping malls, and yeah, but it's life as normal-ish. There's no tourists, very low on tourists.
But your first year in Cyprus has been quite an odd one, hasn't it? Because half of it's been with COVID. Were you glad you were in Cyprus and not the UK?
Definitely.
Yes. Yeah, so it's been a lot safer over here than in the UK.
Yeah.
Especially with my health, because I was born with a lot of heart problems, and if I'd been over there, it could have been quite bad for me. But over here, it's been great because we've still been allowed out to go and do whatever we do during the day. Walking the dogs and everything. We've had to get permission to do that. But at the moment now, it's more relaxed, and obviously, yeah, we can go round and about and do our everyday life things.
Yeah, the good thing about it now is we're still doing 2,000 plus tests a day throughout the island.
Yeah.
But here, for example, there's only 4 new cases, and that's obviously from all the tourists flying in. So there's only 4 new cases, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
It is. They've been very good at being careful about who's coming in, haven't they? They're very good sort of pandemic, if one can say that. So, how you look very tanned, look very well. Well, how have you been spending your days?
Well, we've been dog walking, pet sitting, and the tan is just basically from dog walking all the time, because we literally walk one dog every single day. We walk 2 other dogs every other day. And we have sunbathed a couple of days.
Not very often.
But most of the time it's literally just from walking dogs.
By the coast, though.
By the coast, yeah.
I mean, we've had Russian owners, Greek, Cypriot owners, and obviously English owners, and it's like all the dogs understand us. It's amazing. Multilingual dogs, I think we're taking out all the time, but that's been great. From little pugs up to giant, massive dogs, but it's great.
Yeah.
And with a dog, you were allowed to go out to exercise a dog when the lockdown was on. If you had permission by SMS text, saying yes, okay, you can go out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really restricted at all.
Yeah, it's been ideal for us because we've not really had like Andy said, we've not had the restrictions, so we've been okay.
Yeah, I guess have any family not been able to visit you though because of the flight difficulties?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So my brother's going to come out, so is the father-in-law as well, but obviously that's been cancelled. Now the flights are up and running again.
Yes.
They've only got, they're all clear of the virus and whatever. So yeah, they're coming across again now. So yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I think we're just about to get Jonnie back, but hopefully, this virtual event is a steep learning curve, and we're all getting to grips with it. But it's a great chance for everyone to interact during this time instead of us doing our normal show in Birmingham. I think you guys have been to a few of our shows, haven't you?
Yes, we have. Yeah.
When did you go?
We've been, actually, we went to the one in Birmingham, and we've also been to the one in Manchester, and I think it was the one in Birmingham where we actually queued up for however long to take the test, the camera test.
And so we go for it. So, come on, let's do it then. I mean, we're going to present to the exhibits, have a look round, and there's always a big line there, big snake line. Let's go for this then. Come on then. And we thought nothing about it, so we got a phone call about, it was in the March silence after the September show. Well, just having dinner, I had a phone call, so it was a crank call, put the phone down. It was one of your researchers, so.
Oh my gosh. Gosh, so how many shows did you go to then?
Twice, didn't we?
We've been to 3 shows in total.
Yes.
2 at Birmingham and 1 at Manchester.
And was that your kind of main source of research when you started wanting to buy abroad?
Not really. I mean, I've been wanting to move out to Cyprus for many years. I first came over here in 1985. And later on, a few years later, my dad bought a place out here for a holiday home, and he had it for 20 years because him and my mum were going to retire out here. But then my mum passed away. Oh,
hello.
Hello.
Am I back?
I think we're back with Jonnie.
Sorry. Oh, goodness me. There was a whole new variety of swear words released on Newcastle upon Tyne then.
There must be a few already. Well, hi, Jonnie.
Hi, sorry about that,
we've
everybody.
got you.
Wow, that was stress like I haven't received. Woo! Woo! I just threatened to throw my au pair out the window if she was on the Wi-Fi.
So, we were just discussing. Did you meet Jonnie at the shows when you?
Yes, we did. Yeah,
you queued up. You had to queue up for ages, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. Just to meet you as well.
Yeah.
And you were running late.
But it's going on from the show. I mean, you went to the show initially. You went to the exhibition initially to find out about property.
Yeah.
Did you go to the exhibition to come onto the television show?
No.
We actually went into the exhibition looking for a property, because you've got all the stalls there. And we were hoping to, see something and try and get something from that. We didn't intend to come on the show. But then, Andy says, shall we queue up for it? And we, like you say, we queued up for ages.
A bit nervous, this is. It's scary stuff, this is. What's somebody there for?
That was that.
And so we got a surprise phone call. I'm just having tea at the time. I thought it was a crank call and put the phone down on me, so.
Don't blame you. You should have kept it that way, mate. So remind me, how long from when you applied to come on the show to when you flew out to Cyprus?
Well, the show's in September. We had a phone call in the March, and then we flew out in the May.
Yeah, to do the show, and then we actually moved over here in the last August. So it was just under a year from start to finish.
I mean, a year sounds like a long time, but that's a whirlwind, isn't it, really?
Yeah, when you've got to sort things out, yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. And then we've been in contact quite a bit afterwards, so I won't go into that too much yet. But I mean, it's tempting to go straight to it. But you went at it 100 miles an hour, didn't you? I mean, I remember when we were filming, you were talking about your life, but I always remember in the back of my mind thinking, they've moved here. We just need to put the building blocks in place. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Some people I show houses to second homers or maybe full timers like you, but they still haven't made that decision in their mind. I felt like you had.
Yeah. Yeah.
The house in the UK was sold while we were filming the show. So
That's right, yeah. But okay,
Yeah.
do you mind if I ask a question here, Liz? But tell me,
Yeah.
what inspired you to move to Cyprus? As in, I'll talk about Cyprus as a destination in a moment, but was it you wanting to leave the UK, or was it you wanting to do something else?
Well, basically, like I've just been saying before you came back onto the screen, you know, I've been coming to Cyprus since 1985, and I absolutely love the island, and I've always dreamt of living in Cyprus. And just a few years after I first started coming, my dad actually bought an apartment out here as a holiday home, and
Right.
he would come out eventually with my mum, you know, to retire out here. But then sadly my mum passed away, and a few years later my dad sold his place, and because I knew my mum always wanted to come out here and I always wanted to come out here, I just did it for both of us.
So there is that sense of history there, that sense of, you know, you've always been there and what have you, but
Yeah.
you knew your life would be different. I mean, that was also, moving out to Cyprus was also turning your back on your careers. It was retirement, wasn't it, for you?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've got this new little adventure where we go dog walking, we pet sit, and we've met some lovely, lovely people, and we still keep in contact with them. And, you know, they constantly call us up to see how we are, and they, you know, if they ever need a dog sitter or a dog walker, then they always come on the phone to us. It's brilliant. You know, we've started a new life in Cyprus, and we've got on with new things, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, thank you. So we should really, I mean, Liz, are you going to,
Yeah.
have we got some clips to play?
Yeah, should
let's
we
do that.
start from the beginning? Right, we're going to go in now. Okay, one sec. Right. Okay. Right, here we go.
Lined up for Andy and Linda to see. But first, let's find out why this part of Cyprus is special to them. So, welcome to Western Cyprus. Hot here, isn't it?
Yes,
Lovely.
very hot.
Beautiful. Is it the sun that attracts you here, Linda?
Yes, my dad had a place out here for 20 years and I just love the place. The people are so friendly. It's just fabulous.
You both love this island together as a couple, and
Yes.
you want to put down roots here. You want to settle here.
Yes, that's correct.
That's
yes.
fantastic.
Yeah.
What's brought all this about? Why now?
Andy's ready for retiring and I'm
Ready for
I'm ready for retiring,
Are you?
to be honest.
now, you know.
Start taking life a bit easier and enjoy it while I can.
Have you got favourite areas you'd like us to consider for you?
Yes, mainly Coral Bay, Paphos area.
Right, okay. Think more Paphos than Coral Bay. That's what I'm saying. And I say that because Coral Bay, it ain't cheap. Yes.
No, we know.
It's,
That's where my dad had his place.
Right. What's your budget?
We've got about 120 to 125,000 pounds, but we could go up a little bit, probably £5,000 to £10,000 for the right property.
But it's got to be the right property.
But it's got to be, yeah.
How excited are you on a scale of 1 to 10 about this new life here?
12.
Whoa, didn't even let me finish. Amazing. We've got 5 great properties lined up. Let's get going.
Right, Jonnie, over to you.
Yeah. Well, it's always nice to set the scene there, and I always try to get the buyers in a state of realism straight away. So right there, we talked about Coral Bay being the target area, and I give you the slightly potentially more realistic destination as well, because you know we've all got our different styles, but I'd rather just hit someone over the head with some bad news straight away and let's move on from that. Do you know what I mean? So Coral Bay was the target area, but Coral Bay's bloody expensive.
Yeah,
but also all that glitters is gold, is it? Coral Bay's that's where you live in something that feels a bit more like a community, and that's already what I started to try and sow the seed that way. Were you a little bit? when I mentioned that, were you thinking, oh God, we're not going to get anywhere near where we want to be?
Well, no, not really, because obviously with my dad having a place out there, we knew how expensive it was, but it's just nice to be around the surrounding area. And luckily for us, you know, we're literally 5 minutes drive away from Coral Bay where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's just about 25 minutes walk or 5 minutes in the car. So because we can see the sea from our house as well, we've got the mountains around us as well. It's fantastic.
Brilliant. I think we might have temporarily lost Jonnie again. So, how was the TV? Was the filming just like you expected?
No.
It never is it? It never is.
Well, we didn't know what to expect.
no, we didn't know what to expect.
The best thing about it, we all went together in a crew bus, rather than being kept separate, so we could all like interact with each other and have a laugh and a sing along.
We thought that was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and wanted to burn us together and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah,
great.
it was great. Fabulous,
I think from my point of view, sorry, my Wi-Fi keeps kicking in, and it's clearly from the 1980s. What's important to me on shoots is this sense of team.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you're just going on viewing trips. And I always encourage, I don't know if you remember me saying to you, and this is my advice to people when they're looking abroad as well, on their own, poor souls. Try and have that conversation that they'd have in the car on the way home for viewing as soon as possible and as openly as possible. So we'd have the viewing, wouldn't we? And we'd talk about it as much as possible on camera. But you can't help but have another conversation in the car afterwards, can't you? Like, what about this? What about that? And it's those incidentals that help you make your mind up, isn't it? It helps you. It's good to write a property off. You know, every single property that we filmed, at the end of it, I'm putting a big Irish digit in your face saying, is it a contender? Because I need you to be able to move on.
Yeah.
You get to the end of the week, and you're like, well, that was good, but that was bad, that was good, that was bad. You're nowhere near a decision. I want to try and chip away at these decision blocks. And to be together all that time, to have that constant banter, I think is important. But I think it's important for you as well to feel, because you're making a TV show as well, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realise that. Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about that, because like we're looking at how I'm focused on finding you a house, and sometimes I forget I'm making a TV show. That's my problem. I get that all the time. But it's a big thing to be like doing all this very publicly. And were you thinking about how you were coming across at all?
I was.
I just seen that clip and I thought, blimey,
Yeah. In fact, actually, since we filmed it, I've lost 1.5 stone and I look quite chunky on there. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness.
They say the camera puts some weight on. Yeah. So we had that opening chat, right? We had that opening chat, and we all got in the cars, and it's the adventure starts then, doesn't it? That's when it's real.
Yeah.
First house. Can you remember it?
Yes.
Was it the one?
On the corner, I went out the back there and you said, blah, 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 and do this, or did something wrong. I had to do a retake.
How very dare you? You're not supposed to come in here and tell people I get it wrong.
No, we got it wrong.
It wasn't you that got it wrong. In fact, it was actually me that got it wrong.
Yeah. But we asked
it's not live, is it?
Yeah.
Can we have a look at one of the houses? Because I haven't seen any of them. Can we show
have you got one? Oh,
yes,
amazing,
we've got one here. Right, we're going to have another share. Okay. Right. Okie doke. Right. Off we go.
We're off.
Well, I know just how much you love Coral Bay and Coral Bay Beach, so I wanted to show you a property as close as possible to that wonderful beach, and this is it.
Very good.
This is the biggest we've seen so far. Okay. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-balcony, 2-bathroom.
Wow.
Now you're talking. Yeah? Yeah. As well as the covered parking and separate storage room, perfect for a music collection, motorbikes and their tools, this house has 2 private terraces with incredible views. Beyond the enormous living room is a separate kitchen, also large enough to eat in. The master bedroom has a family-sized ensuite shower room, and both guest rooms are a generous size.
Brilliant. Okay.
That was a whopper of a house.
That
It
was
was,
massive,
yes,
yes, it was. Very
Well, that was the
obvious.
first.
That was the.
You,
Sorry, Ron.
well, you had quite an interesting wish list,
Yeah,
didn't you?
yeah,
Because your motorbikes were a big part of your life.
Yeah.
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 Secure parking for your motorbikes, your music collection. You wanted, you didn't want to be just holed up in a one-bed flat. You wanted a life, didn't you?
yeah.
And so it was just, I remember thinking each property just didn't really have a lot of the stuff that you were really looking. The motorbikes the motorbikes became bigger in my mind than I initially thought. Actually,
Yeah, yeah.
that was your motorbikes was as important as a granny annex to some couple.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Perhaps
Yeah.
more important, I think, if you admit properly. So that you saw that you could hear you that when I told you 3 bed, 3 balconies, and you were like, oh, whoa, that's more like it. That's when the Leicester came out, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you quite liked looking around that place, didn't you?
Yeah,
Were we getting somewhere then?
Yes, it was a good property, yeah.
So by then, I think, was that property number 3?
Yes, I think it was, yes.
Right. Okay. So we'd got the size by it then, and let's talk about let's talk about the lifestyle you were trying to get there, because lots of people, when they go over to Cyprus, they're thinking, right, lovely weather, we need the space, but what do we want to do with that lovely weather? And it's all about swimming pools, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
whatever. Yeah.
yeah. So we'd shown you a property with access to swimming pool, haven't we? We'd shown you a couple of apartments, haven't we? So
Yeah.
what were you thinking there? Halfway through all the tours, because not all the properties had pools, did they? That's the fact. Let's face it. So was a swimming pool becoming less of a priority as other things were climbing up the list, like parking for your motorbikes, music room, that sort of stuff?
Yeah, the main concern, the motorbikes, out of the sun and out of sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? So did any of your priorities change through our search, do you think?
Well, as we got going, yes, I mean, the first couple there, you say there was space or kind of space for the bikes, but in that open public area, like
Yeah.
open parking. And, when you got £20,000 worth of motorbike there, it's like, you always put it in the back of your mind. Anywhere, wherever you are in the world, it's the same thing, because if there needs to be stuff.
Yeah.
So if it's out of sight, it's right, from tempting eyes type of thing. So, but
So-
this one, that was brilliant.
So let's talk about the process, because the process is very different. You last bought a house in the UK how long ago?
I last bought mine, it was 11 years ago.
Right. And that would have been like most people's experience of buying a house. You go into the house with an estate agent, normally got really pointy shoes, fairly badly fitting suits, and they will tell you, yeah, like mine. And they'll tell you, they'll also tell you things that are patently obvious. You'll walk into the living room and they'll say, this is the living room. Oh, really? I wonder what that sofa was doing there. Why don't you go and wait in the car, Derek? Anyway, so they'll shoo you around the house, but they'll get you out of there as quick as possible, won't they?
Yeah.
Now, with the show, we spend a couple of hours in our house.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that, to most estate agents, is terrifying, because you get the chance to fall out of love with the house.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Feel down straight away or whatever.
But from my point of view, you get the chance to actually think, are we going to go through with it? I'd rather someone fall out of love with a house than make a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how did you find that viewing process? Because we only let you see, from your point of view, we only let you see one room at a time. So you talk me through that. How did you find that? Tell the audience.
Well, on the TV show, it all flows through this, that, and the other, and I thought, oh, that feels pretty good. We didn't realise what's happening in the background.
No.
And so it was all a new ball game to us, wasn't it? You lead into the room, they will look round it, and then, okay, what do we do now, type of thing.
Yeah, it's yes. At least you get a chance doing it that way, the way that the show does it. You get a chance to look around properly at the room, and you know, to see things better rather than just being rushed around. You know, it's a lot more helpful, to be fair.
Like on the 5th property, it was so dark inside in the lounge area. Yeah, people straight through wouldn't realise that. But when you're in there for a while, you think, you need the lights on here in the daytime. It's so dark.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you start noticing things that you didn't think you were looking for. So you're looking for a full-time home. You're like, hold on a minute. Where's the fireplace? Where's the central heating? Nobody thinks about central heating in Cyprus, but you know, you're going to want it, right? Because it's a full-time home.
Yeah.
But do you remember I encouraged you to sit down, just take a weight off? Like you walk into a room sometimes and there's a lovely view. Well, sit down on the sofa. Can you see the view? No, there's windows up there.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah.
It's probably a good opportunity to talk about the you know what, isn't it?
Well, I suppose it is what. As you go to one room, obviously the camera guy and the sound guy go to the next room, and you're left in this room kicking your heels, waiting for it to set up. So then this Jonnie comes along with this wonderful new game.
He invents a new game called, dare I say it?
Go ahead. Kitchen bingo. So
what's this?
So for the audience, basically, why don't you explain it, Sue? Andy.
Andy, well, well, yeah. On the right show there. Yeah, so there's a kitchen there, and Jonnie's asked us to guess what's in the cupboards, what's behind the cupboard door. You know, whether they pots and pans, cups and saucers,
tea or whatever.
So every house went round, that was part of the daily chore, going round, okay, what's behind this kitchen door type of thing.
And of course we had the drum rolls and everything
else. And then they'd open the door and then they'd be right and I'd be wrong. And then Jonnie was right and so on. Yeah. So it was a great way to take the, you know, the pressure off type of thing until the camera guy and sound guy set up again.
Yeah.
But there is a little bit of method in that madness as well. And it's just to get you to explore the home. Because it can be a bit of a strange environment. And I want you to think, actually, does this kitchen work for me? You know, it might look nice, big cupboards. Like, is there enough space in this kitchen? Where will we put our stuff? Is it configured right? But also, with my surveyor's hat on, what's behind that door? Is there damp underneath that sink? Is there cracks behind this door? You know, it's people. Us Brits are wonderfully polite. You know, we better not go in there at someone's private stuff. I don't care. You're buying that. You're buying that property. It's their fault if they've got clothes in the way. I want to see if that wall is flat, dry, without cracks. And so, if you've got your favourite coat in the way, sorry, that's going out of the way. I want to see it because it's a big investment you're making. So it's so it kind of does encourage that a bit, doesn't it? Really?
Yes, it does.
Yes,
Definitely.
I mean, you say you see some shows on TV now, and they're going to all this. What's in that kitchen door? You know, what's in that cupboard there? What's behind that wardrobe? What's people's clothes? I see where you're coming from there. You know.
Yeah.
But it's also good. I think what helps us on the show is we get the estate agents and the owners out of the way. We don't want to be rude about someone's house, but I think you can ask some more pertinent questions and we can have more honest answers without the owner there, can't we?
That's true. Yes. Very true.
Yeah, well, Jonnie, you've half answered that question actually, especially the benefits of kitchen bingo. But we've had a question from the audience about Andy and Linda. I mean, what are the benefits of using the TV show that in finding your property?
Well, to be honest, it gives you opportunity to see around different houses, especially, you know, like ourselves, we were working and it was very hard to get time off work. Although we managed to get time off work eventually to come and do the filming, if that hadn't have been the case, it was very hard for us to get time off work to come over to Cyprus and look round properties. I know you've got the internet now, but it's not actually the same as actually going inside a house and looking for yourself.
And seeing the position where it is,
and
the town and everything else there.
And see what's around
it. Gain all that knowledge, you see. I mean, we went some places with these guys, I thought, oh, you know, that existed.
Yeah, I mean, even though I'd been coming over to Cyprus for all those years, there were still places that the team took us that I didn't even know existed, you know, even after X amount of times coming over here. So it was very helpful, you know, for to go onto the show and see all these things. It was great.
Yeah, you're off for a bus route, anything like that. You're off a bus route, you're somewhere back street somewhere, we've got a fantastic view. And also you can hear what's going around, the noise as well, the daytime noise, etc., which you wouldn't have gone with an estate agent type of thing. It could have been, you know, a silly time of the day or whatever, but because we're in the middle of the daytime, you can hear what's going on around you and how busy the roads were, etc.
Sure. And do you remember? Sorry, Jonnie, you go.
I was going to say, but it also must be a bit frustrating having all these properties selected for you, because we get it wrong. I get it wrong.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know, because then you realise going onto the show and having these properties put in front of you, you know, the things that are important and the things that aren't so important. As we did, as we went along, we found out that yes, we do need, you know, parking for the bikes, because we've brought the bikes over, and yes, we do need somewhere to store them. Like Andy said, you know, we've got £20,000 worth of bikes, and you don't want them on show, you know, and you get to learn all this from the show. You know, you can't do it if you're just looking on the internet at property, or, you know, an estate agent. You know, if we haven't got the time to come over, you know, we just can't do it. So the show has been absolutely brilliant and so helpful.
I mean, from a personal point of view, it's a team effort. So there's lots of us pooling our resources together, choosing these properties. And I get frustrated myself, because sometimes I don't agree with some of the properties that are put into the mix, but it all helps. And I do some private client work as well. And I find that when clients are left to their own devices, if I'm looking for me, when I'm left to my own devices, I will look at just one type of property. And to have other people's input just makes you think slightly differently. And that's the thing that helps. That's the thing that helps you make the decision. Even if it makes you think, no, I'm absolutely right, I do not want that. But it makes you so much more certain when you come to the end of the week of your decision that you're making, doesn't it?
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, it's a great experience. And it says
Brilliant.
without you know, without you guys, we're probably still living in the UK. So.
Well, let's. I mean, is it time to talk about where you are now, then, Liz? I mean,
Shall we have a little? Shall we play the final clip and see what happened or not, as the case may be? Okay, right. Going now. Brilliant. Right.
There's also a family bathroom and a further toilet.
Going into the next clip.
So I can't wait to find out if Andy and Linda are ready to make their permanent move here. So I've been in a type of sales all my life. Yeah. And I know what's coming my way. You're both sat like that. All right, so let's just get everything confirmed, because we had a bit of a jostling for position with the properties.
Yeah.
Yes. What's your favourite property that I showed you?
Property 3, by far.
By far,
Yes.
the 3-bedroom house.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You loved that property the moment you walked through the door.
Yeah.
What do you want to do about it?
We'd like to put an offer in, please.
Excellent.
Well.
Wow.
And that's music. I get so excited. You know, I do it week in, week out. I've just had 3 weeks abroad, and every time I sit down with guys like yourself, I'm like, it's business time. And it's not, we're not on commission. It's just a whole week of work, spending time with people like yourself, and just being part of that journey. But we're so close there, aren't we? It's like you want to put an offer in, but it still might not work.
Yeah.
Yes, as we know, yes.
How were you? Yeah. How were you feeling then when you knew you wanted to put an offer in?
Excitement, really. Yes, we've done it, you know.
Excited, nervous, you know, because obviously you're paying out a lot of money for, you know, for something. And, you know, I mean, obviously I've been wanting to come out here for years, and I'm just ecstatic, because I just want, yay, let's go over there.
Well, you were the driver, Linda, weren't you? You were the main driver, but I mean, you were hardly kicking and screaming, were you, Andy? I mean, you were, you were bang on board.
I had to really twist his arm.
Yeah. I've still got the bruise now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's because you keep asking for it, mate. So I mean, the show hasn't yet gone out, so I don't want to give too much away, but it doesn't really take a rocket scientist to see that you've got a sickening tan, you're clearly living in Cyprus, or you've got some bloody good central heating. And so things have gone well. And I know that because you used our law firm as well. So I'm chuffed to bits. But I think I would like to just talk about a bit of the practicalities of what happens next, because really it's lovely to hear the behind the scenes story, but the camera's cut. You've got a hopeful, we don't know whether you bought that property or something else or something that maybe we'll discuss this another time, but we know you're living in Cyprus, and I'll say no more than that because there is something else to the story, ladies and gentlemen. There's something happened along the way, but hook by crook, you are now living in Cyprus. So that's great. But when the cameras stop, then it's right. We're on our own now.
What do we do now?
What do you do now? So why don't you talk us through what happened next then?
Well, as we said earlier, the UK house was sold while we were filming the show. So we had a date to get out of the house in the UK. And that date came, and the purchasers tried to bring the date forward. We hung back that date. And things went a bit slower than we anticipated. So we ended up living in a travel lodge for 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like Alan Partridge.
Yeah.
Obviously we're sorting out all the transportation again and stuff across there. The motorbike trike was another problem because it had 3 wheels on. Not used to dealing with a 3-wheeled vehicle, used to dealing with a car or just a 2-wheeled motorbike. That caused issues with the centre wheel, which we had to resolve that problem. But everything was cleared out of the house, and we lived out of suitcases. Still going to work for 20 days or whatever it was.
Yeah, 21 days later we finished work, and then that was on the Saturday, and the following Tuesday we flew out here to live. And obviously the house that we're now in, we were still waiting for it, so we had to go and live in an apartment for another 2.5 weeks before we could actually move into our house.
We got the keys to the front door.
So how did you find the buying process? Because suddenly you're buying a property abroad, and a lot of Brits just go mad and think, right, there's the money, let's go. You decided to do things sensibly. Talk me through that.
Well, we found out with the currency exchange, get the better exchange rate from the pound to the euro. Otherwise, from the bank, it would have been ripped off no end by the exchange rate. We sorted that out. Just
talk to me a bit more about that. That's an important point. Now, a lot of people, they buy a property, and then suddenly, 2 weeks before they complete, they think, flipping heck, I haven't got any euros or whatever. But you decided, right, we need to buy our currency. How did that work?
What we did is we got in contact with a foreign currency firm, and they
Which
did
you can use a place in the sun. You can use a place in the sun currency,
Oh,
can't you? So that's
and they did everything for us. Basically, we told them how much we needed to pay. We gave them our bank account details. It goes into their bank account, and then they pay it for us in euros from that money. So literally, they do everything for you, and it was so easy, and they were so helpful as well. I mean, you could.
And you probably saved a few £1,000s doing that.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Yeah, we did definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's massive, and that is something that I beat people over the head with. Every week, people like yourself turn up, and they haven't got their currency sorted, and it's just that's all their legal fees up in smoke. It's unbelievable. But you did that, and fair play to you. You did exactly what you said, so that's good. So you got that all sorted, and that was all taken care of by the experts at Place Sun, which is good.
Yeah.
And then you got lawyers. You used my firm actually, didn't you? Which is good.
Yes, we did,
Yeah.
But that's what you'd do in the UK, right? You'd use a lawyer.
Yeah, but it's obviously being over here, everybody did everything for us, and rather than taking 3-4 months. It took about 6 weeks. So
Which is
everything
great,
was
isn't it?
everything was done quickly, easily, and job done. It was brilliant. You know, we didn't have to worry about anything because it was all taken care of for us.
In daily contact with me, as well. Okay, obviously you got your place in the UK and also one in Cyprus, so it was great. It's all followed up. It was fabulous.
Excellent. Well, that's music to my ears. I mean, look, I love the fact that you use duty care. Of course I do, but I just want people to use independent lawyers. Use whoever they are, and use someone that you feel comfortable with, because it's not just a lot of money. It's a lot of hassle. It's a lot of heartache, and it's such a big experience buying a property abroad. You want it to be fun, don't you?
Yeah.
You want to be you want to be empowered to make the right decisions for you, rather than worried about the what ifs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's separate law as well. So yeah, it's different like the UK laws all different, and it's a process, isn't it? So
yeah, everything was done, and you know, like I say, it was done and dusted, all within 6 weeks, and we didn't have to worry about anything because obviously we had the professional people, and they just took care of everything. It was great.
Brilliant. So that aside, technical stuff aside, let's talk about your life now. You lucky sods.
oh, it's flawed.
Oh, it's so hard.
I tell you what, I'm not had a day off since March the 4th.
What, you're not having a day off having a day off, you mean?
I've been day off 7 days a week. Dog walking, sitting.
Yeah, we go dog walking every day. We pet sit for cats, dogs, and whatever else. And it's just so hard, you know.
Come March the 4th, the English people got in touch with us who had a dog and 3 cats, and to house sit for them while they went back to the UK for 7 to 10 days. Yeah, no problem, we stayed. But of course, on the shutdown, you know, everything shut down after then.
The lockdown.
And 3 months, was it?
3 months we were looking after these, this dog and 3 cats.
I hope you like the dog and the 3 cats.
Well, the dog was fabulous.
A beautiful dog, very well behaved.
Yeah, fabulous.
But
how did you get into that? How did you fall into this?
Well, we had some, because as you know, we were both raw male, ex-raw male posters, used to walk in the streets for a living. We came over here and we had some leaflets printed, and we went out to leafleting.
Delivering them to every single house we could.
Brilliant.
I had about 6,000 leaflets printed, and we got some comeback from that, plus the papers over here as well. Yeah,
we put an advert into the local paper, and we've had comeback from that, and it's just sort of gone from there.
It's funny, you know. It's funny. It keeps you honest, though. I remember interviewing a couple that had based themselves out in France, in Dordogne, and
is that
that's right, me do. And they'd started to look after people's dogs for the simple reason that they needed a reason to stop opening the cork every day. And it was like they're opening the cork 10 minutes earlier every day. They said, look, if we're looking after people's dogs, we've got to be sober enough to walk them at night, and we've got to get up in the morning. And I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah, we love it. We absolutely love it. It's brilliant.
The only downfall is it's so hot over at the moment. We're doing it early morning, the first walk before the sun.
I bet. Mm-hmm. Tell me about are you in your house now?
Yeah.
So describe it to us then, because you know it's the audience are going to see the show pretty soon. Describe this house then.
Are you doing it?
Right. Okay. Well, you come into it's a block of 7.
Townhouse.
It's a townhouse. It's a block of 7. You walk up to the driveway. You've got a swimming pool, a communal pool between the 7 houses. Warehouse. Well, we're virtually in the middle of these 7 houses. You come up. You've got underneath parking where we've got the 2 bikes, of course, and we've got a little storage room. So we've got storage to put all the bike stuff in there and everything else. We've got a wooden box in there as well to put storage.
All over stuff, you know, you name it, it all goes in there.
Yeah.
I thought the wooden box was for Andy.
Yeah, or a puppet, yeah. Oh, hang on.
Sorry, I was just going to say we're slightly running out of time here. We might have to save the rest of the whole house for the TV programme.
Okay.
Just to say that if anyone, we've got a very tight schedule, and we've actually, if anyone listening has missed some of the recording, they can catch up with the, they can find it on our website, aplaceinthesundigital.co.uk, and watch it from Monday. You can, we've got a big masterclass on buying in Cyprus, if this has inspired you, later in the month. Keep an eye on the same website for our scheduled date for that. And also we've got another Buyers Reunited session, one with Jasmine in Portugal next Saturday. So sorry to cut things short, but there's lots going on. And I'd just love to say thanks to Jonnie, thanks to Andy and Linda.
Can I just quickly ask Andy and Linda a quick question?
Yeah.
What would your advice be to someone thinking of doing what you've done, Andy and Linda?
Do it.
Do it while you can.
Don't think about it, just do it.
Life's too short to think and think and think. If you always think, you never get it done. So do it now, in the now, and not later, because you'll never do it.
I mean, Russ, we were actually homeless. We sold the house UK. We lived in a travel lodge until we came across here. So, you know.
Just get up and do it. It's, you know, life's too short to say, we'll do it later, because you'll regret it, yeah.
And
I think you'll be an inspiration to lots of people, and it's just so good to see the crystallization of this show. Really, like you've been there and you've done it. People do buy on the show. They do make successes of their lives, and they do live happily ever after. And you're living proof of that. I mean, we're in contact. We have banter on the WhatsApp anyway, but so I know all this. But I just want the audience to know that, you know, you are real people. You've been there and you're doing it, and I'm so chuffed for you both. I really, really am.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We've got to go, but that's great.
So if any, I'll stay on Twitter for the next 10 minutes. If anybody has got any other questions, I'll stay on Twitter for the next 10 minutes, and I'll do some Q&A if everyone wants to contact me on that.
All right. Thanks, guys. We're closing up.
All right.
Thanks for listening,
All
everyone.
right, Take care, the ducks.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.